Listen here, I had a 4.0 all through anesthesia school, CRNA school. A nerd. I love to study, I love the competitiveness, I love to learn, I love to know. I'm competitive to a fault, but that's another story. How I got to 4.0 and aced all my tests and did all the things is I'm gonna explain it to you right now. I'm gonna tell you, okay? If you don't care about that, then just keep scrolling. Number one, you're gonna ask yourself this. Do the study habits that you currently use, are they working? Are they getting you good grades? Are you retaining the information? Or are you cramming the information into short-term memory? And then when it comes to the final exam at the end of the year, do you not remember a single thing? Then that's a freaking problem. You're not actually learning. You're just cramming information into your short-term memory and to learn. So make your study habits where you are actually learning the information and then you're just recalling it. You're not remembering it. You actually know it. And then the tests are fun. Tests are fun. I just spit everywhere. Let's start with this. I do not use flashcards. I don't even own a single flashcard, never owned a flashcard, don't like flashcards. Flashcards didn't work for me. Nothing stuck in my head, I couldn't do it, I wasn't learning. So if you're not doing well on tests and you're using flashcards, how about we decide that flashcards don't work for you and you need to change your habits? Or maybe whatever else you're doing doesn't work, so change that too. Step one, I never said any of this was fun, okay? Although it is kind of fun to me, but maybe you're not me, so then maybe it's not fun, but here we go. After your lecture, you're gonna go to the gym, or you're gonna go for a walk, or you're gonna go home, and within the next 5 hours or so, you're gonna reread your lecture notes. I didn't say study them, I didn't say go crazy over them, I just said reread them. I'm sorry I'm lecturing you, but I just get really involved in this because I really want everyone to succeed and I want you to know that someone else's habits don't necessarily work for you. So if you're using flashcards because your classmate Susie does and she makes straight A's, don't do flashcards because maybe what works for Susie doesn't work for you. So maybe also what I'm gonna tell you to do won't work, but at least it's another option, okay? And it's gonna wake your brain up to thinking that maybe you need to think outside the box and do some other studying habits. But just reread through them. You don't even have to feel like you're retaining the information, but you're gonna read through all of the notes before that day is over. And research shows that if you reread your notes after a lecture within the first 24 hours, you are more likely to retain that information than any other time. Don't waste that little bit of success. Let it be known that you're going to be doing all of these things long before the test. If the test is on Thursday, you're not studying on Wednesday. You're studying nonstop up until that test. And that's just part of it. If you actually want to learn the information and tests not be anxiety driven, then you need to actually learn the information so that you're actually concretely submitting it into your brain so that it's not some crammed information that's useless for you from a year from now. Paying all this money for school, so just be good at what you do and know all the things and just be good. Next step in learning this topic is that you're gonna get a bunch of colorful pens. I have them linked to my Amazon storefront. These are not them, but this is what I have on hand now. But when I was in school, I had probably 65 different colors. Every color had 5 subcolors, and that's what you want. You want a lot of colors. If you're anything like me, get colors. Take your notes, and this is literally dated as the first day of anesthesia school, pharmacology. This is about one of the drugs that we use to paralyze you as we put you off to sleep. Now you're gonna interactively read through them. So you're gonna get some colorful pens. On this, back in the day, but we're gonna redo it, okay? We're gonna redo it together. First, we're just gonna highlight the main important things, and you're gonna reread through this sheet of paper 1,000,000 times. This is gonna be an extremely long video, but if you wanna learn, then learn. Why am I so feisty right now? Okay, so this is nothing special, but let's just talk about it, okay? So this is succinylcholine, one of the paralytics. So first we start off by just bubbling up the succinylcholine because it's pretty, okay? It makes it, we're submitting this word into our brain. This is what we're learning about today. These are some other words that are also used for the same exact drug. Interactively highlight and go through your notes again for the 15th multiple time. So far, we've already read through the notes the day after a lecture when it's most fresh in our mind and when everything that your teacher said already is in our head, and we can even add to some of our notes while we're doing that. I'm sounding really professional. It's almost nauseating. Secondly, you interactively go through your notes and highlight and make things very pretty. You're just interactively doing things. You're interacting with the paper this time. Just color pencils with markers like this to just interactively make things. It's nothing special, just do your thing. It's still on this one piece of paper or the PowerPoints or whatever you were doing. The next thing you're gonna do is grab a piece of notebook paper. Normally this is maybe where you would use a note card or a flash card, but we don't do flash cards, okay? We're not doing that. If flashcards don't work for you, then continue to listen. So we chose the color blue for succinylcholine. So on our little sheet of paper, that's what we're gonna use. We're gonna use blue. Now tell yourself that this is almost like a cheat sheet for the sheet of notes that you have. Same little bubble around. I had to move because I have children and the house was getting crazy and really loud, so here I am now. Pick up my kid from preschool. Forgot about that. See here, it says does not cross the blood-brain barrier. Does not cross blood-brain barrier. Write it in an abbreviated version. You understand what this is trying to say because you've already learned it from this. So really this is just a reminder. So does not blood-brain barrier, you understand what that means, if that makes sense. So you don't have to write out the whole sentence. It says it's lipid soluble, which means it's highly ionized, which means it's water soluble. So it's just, I'm rewriting that in my own kind of word, sits in the plasma, and it means it has a small volume of distribution. An abridged version of the notes, okay? And then you're going to take your notes and then review them again with your colorful pencils and do the same thing with what you did to the notes and make them pretty. The definition of pretty means like you're highlighting and underlining the most important words. So succinylcholine's theme was blue, so I'm going to stick with blue. I would normally get like blue colored pencils, blue everything, so that when my brain goes back to the notes of succinylcholine during the test, I can remember it's everything blue and it just sticks better. So succinylcholine's color is blue. Blood-brain barrier does not cross the placenta. So it's basically like you're just re-highlighting that. Okay, so you've done that for all the notes. And now you're going to make a cheat sheet of the cheat sheet. And I don't even like really using it as a cheat sheet, but it's just like an abridged version of the abridged version of the abridged version. So you've learned, and now this piece of paper just becomes a reminder of the entire sheet. So when you look at this, really your brain is seeing the entire notes. And so now when you go make the final abridged version of it all, you take a piece of notebook paper, and your entire test information is going to be on this one piece of paper. So now you pick a little square, and you're going to pick, that's going to be the topic for succinylcholine. But you're not going to have to write out all the details of succinylcholine, just the kind of tiny little words, because your brain is going to remember the real sentences from before because you learned them, and this is just like a reminder. Using the same color blue because it sucks, and we talked about that before, and we even did the little bubble around it. We're reminding our brain where the notes were before, which were the notes were before that, and the notes before that, and it's just all associated, and then you just rock it out. Okay, hold on. So now you took this whole entire section from here, put it to here, and now it's just to this tiny little piece. And you understand all that it's saying because you learned it from here, because you learned it from there, and you actually learned these notes. So this is just a reminder. You basically start to come up with like your own little language. You understand like your abbreviations, you understand your little symbols. For instance, I had the star that was for the only depolarizing muscle relaxant. So I have the star still here, and I would decorate this the same as I had decorated there. So it's just the smaller version, more condensed version, and then the more condensed version, and then the more condensed version. So basically for the next like 2 weeks before your test, because you're studying before the test actually happens, because you're not cramming it in, because then it's just more fun and it's relaxed and you just study a little bit every day. You carry around this little piece of paper that literally has your entire test information on it, everything you need to know. I mean, I would carry this little guy around to take it to the gym, take it with me into my pocket and put it in between cases when I was studying during school. I would study, and I basically ended up with a gazillion of these little pieces of paper, and then I would just study this. And so the day or two before the test, I'm just looking at this and it's no big deal, and then I go take the test and I ace it because I was slowly learning every day. And obviously that does take a lot of self-control, but if you can get into that rhythm of just maybe like 30 minutes of studying a day, it is so much more enjoyable to be in school and study, and then you go take a test and you kill it, and then you actually know the stuff, and then you're really good at your job.